What's up, guys? It's your boy Java Monkey J here. Today I'm bringing you a tier list / deep dive conversation I had with a couple of my friends about each one of the changes that's coming to Season of Discovery for World of Warcraft at the end of the month. We're going over the runes and their effect on their class, as well as how they compare to other changes that were made to other classes in the game. It's a bit of a long one, a little bit of a theoretical talk. So some of these are definitely subject to change, especially if there's a lot of changes within talent trees or the way abilities function outside of the description for the runes. So take what we say with a grain of salt, but I hope you guys enjoy and maybe it provokes some thoughts about runes and how they're impacting each of the classes.
Okay, Paladin's S tier.
Wait, for DPS?
For everything.
Oh, we're going off everything.
Fucking class.
What makes them S tier though? The fact that they get the shield, the fact that they get beacon.
So they're literally a best in slot in every single role, right? So Seal of Martyrdom, Divine Storm, either of these on a Ret Paladin is crazy. This is a mana battery as well. While the seal is active, your party members gain mana for all of the damage you take, and you're dealing damage to yourself. This is your mana battery. You stand in fire and you give your healers mana. That's fucking crazy. You're getting the Div Sack or Exorcist,
extremely big,
or Rebuke. Yeah, like Ret. You're getting Crusader Strike. Like Ret has great stuff. And then Prot.
All 3 specs have great stuff.
Yeah, all 3 specs. We just went through Prot. Prot is going to be the best Prot's, AoE tank.
Yeah, nuts.
And Holy Paladin has Divine Sack and Beacon of Light.
Yep. So incredibly huge.
So Paladin's S tier for sure. Priest also S tier. Priest has for healing the best healing toolkit. Yeah. They have Circle of Healing. They have Power Barrier. They have Palm. They're crazy. By itself, that's dumb.
Mindseer, crazy AoE.
If you're in a more tank healing mindset, you're going to swap Circle of Healing out for Penance. You'll take Inspiration in the Holy Tree, and this will proc.
Why did they put in Shadow Word Death, though? I've never really been a fan of Shadow Word Death. I don't think it's that great.
It's fun. It's thematic. It's not strong. I don't think you take this.
It's just maybe a leveling if you're leveling Shadow, but
so
or single target fights.
I think there's maybe some justification to take it.
I mean, it's their movement button. That's what it is.
Exactly. It's their movement button, and it's good for that. So
yeah,
fine.
Give them mana, dude. Give them life tap. Fuck it, dude.
No, don't give them life tap. That's a Warlock thing. No, that's a Warlock thing.
Give it to them. Who cares?
No, I care because the whole point is that classes should feel unique and flavorful. If you're gonna give Shadow Priests a movement button, it should feel like a Shadow Priest movement button and not a Warlock movement button. Death does that. So then,
holy shit.
Shadow Priest also gets Shared Pain, which means that you can spread this is the strongest dot in the game at this point, and it goes on 3 targets every click.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This is really, really stupid. When you go to a single target boss fight, and you don't need this anymore, you swap it to Homunculi, and now you have a cooldown that gives you a debuff.
Yeah, that's so big. Holy shit.
So then you get to the chest slot and you get Void Plague. This is Devouring Plague.
Yeah, but don't you take Twisted? You take Twisted Faith.
Not as a shadow, oh yeah, you're right. You probably do. It'll be interesting. That one will take Sims. So on 2 targets, you probably take Void Plague, or 3 targets. But on single target, you probably do take Mind Flay and Mind Blast, deal 20% more damage. Mm-hmm. It'll depend.
Yeah, it depends. Because I mean, Void Plague just looks like Agony to me, which is just like low prio. Like it's good, does damage, but like not much.
But then healing tools, you also have Serendipity.
Yeah, that's so big.
Strength of Soul. This one's dog ass, right here.
Reduce the amount of duration during soul. Yeah, unless you get like unless there's some instant cast play with disc, which I didn't see anything.
It's Power Word Shield is not strong in Classic. The interactions with warrior tanks are bad.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Same with druid tanks. It like isn't even that good. It's not mana efficient in Classic.
Yeah.
So like casting it more is not a thing you want to do. This is a dead slot.
But still S tier. Just from how much they gained so much They get so much.
Shadow is so strong. Holy is going to be so strong. They're going to be fantastic. Moving on, our next S tier is Warlock.
That's what I like to hear, baby.
I think they're probably our last S tier.
I don't know. I think they're probably probably just A tier.
Guaranteed. Depends on how well they tank, I guess.
Yeah, it depends on how well tanking ends up being, because they don't really gain much outside of that. Like outside of building out.
So they gain plenty. So Chaos. So Destro has some really cool stuff going on with Incinerate. I am assuming that this has no cooldown, but if it has a cooldown, because like this buff is weird, I'm assuming that it doesn't though.
I don't think you'd use it anyway. I think probably Shadow Bolt will probably be more damage. You probably just keep that up like a dot.
That may be the case, but I'm not sure.
Lake of Fire is also really interesting.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go look at how much Shadow Bolt does at this level. Shadow Bolt rank 4 is 92 to 104 damage versus the Fire Incinerate, 96 to 111.
Maybe you do spam
If this has no
Incinerate.
cooldown, you spam this as Destro.
Yeah, Incinerate I think is a shorter cast time as well. Well, no, that also depends, because there's a lot of scaling in your Destro tree. If Incinerate goes to a Destro spell school, you're gonna get a lot of damage. If not, then you still do Shadow Bolt. It depends on how they land the classification. I don't.
So you're also going to have improved Shadow Bolt is going to be weird. I don't know how that's going to work. Destro has a lot of really cool potential, but I'm not sure how it's going to turn out.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, regardless,
but their AOE, they probably have the highest AOE with Lake of Fire and Incinerate. These stack. So 25% all damage and 40% all fire damage for your Rain of Fire damage. This is nuts.
And you're wait. So do you have to stand in that to get the buff, or does the enemy?
No.
Enemy stand.
No, it's enemies in the puddle.
Oh, okay.
Take that damage.
So maybe I wonder if you like Rain of. Well, that's so weird. What if you Rain of Fire for a global and then you just spam and it's like that's such a weird rotation to think about.
That would be weird, and I don't think they want to do that, and I don't think you have the mana to do that, because I think that Rain of Fire costs too much. But we'll find out.
Yeah, at 25, you could probably do 3, maybe 4 Rain of Fires.
Yeah.
Drain Life becomes Siphon Life.
But no, but you just do it. You just do it rank 1 just to get the 40%. Who knows? That's gonna be a weird interaction.
Yeah,
that could be really big though.
Rank 2.
That could be such a big. Destro could be really big.
Destro could be really big. That's what I'm saying. And then we look at this is our tank Warlock.
Yep.
So you're gonna have Siphon Life, effectively, where you are healing yourself with your Drain Life passively while you're getting hit. You're using Demonic Grace on your legs to give yourself a 30% dodge chance. I don't know what the cooldown is on this, but I can't see it longer than 30 seconds and probably shorter than that.
Well, last 6 seconds. It could be one of those 8 second was it 10 second like shield walls? Or not?
Yeah.
Called for Warrior.
Shield block or whatever.
Shield block, yeah.
And then you of course have Metamorphosis, and this is
that's
fucking
big.
wild.
That's big.
But like, this is looking very strong.
Yeah.
Looking very strong.
Tank looks really strong.
You're buffing your pet melee and spell crit chance. With Demonic Pact. Like, you're gonna need a demo lock in basically every group still. Only it's not a demo lock anymore. It's just somebody who slots this fucking buff on any fucking thing. That's it.
And
That's
probably
all you need.
maybe even the tank. Maybe even the tank runs that. Who knows, dude?
So the tank is giving up their Demonic Grace, unless you're overgearing the content and they don't need a dodge chance. You're not doing that. But that could be the case in low level content.
Yeah.
But in most content, I'm expecting this to have to be a DPS.
Well, if you're still running 40 people too at like the high, well, you're running 10 people. But if at the very high end you're running 10, then yeah, who cares throwing a demo lock? AF seems the most. AF, honestly, after looking at this again, seems like the most uninteresting part of Warlock changes.
So AF is very similar to current AF in Wrath.
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to be rocking Soul Siphon, which is good on long single target fights.
Straight souls. Yeah. Oh, you're right. You're right, because I forget the primary. You don't Shadow Bolt in retail. You literally just drain soul the entire time. It's your filler ability now. Yeah.
So this will depend a little bit on tuning, in terms of whether you Shadow Bolt as a Laflotte when you don't have Nightfall. Then if this turns out to not be worth it, you will take Demonic Tactics.
Well, I think if that's not worth it, you just don't play AF.
No, I think that you'll still see AF winning on a lot of like 2 and 3 target fights.
Really?
Yeah. Because multi-dotting. It's going to be super strong.
But they don't have UA. They just have Haunt. Haunt applies only to one target. So really, your
Haunt doesn't apply to only one target here.
There's also it depends. It depends on how it plays out. Because I mean, the reason your multi-dot damage is good is because you have corruption and UA. That's why it's good.
Well, but you do have snapshot and corruptions.
Yeah, you can still snapshot corruption. Sure,
you can snap them.
Yeah, and I guess it does apply to Shadow Cleave, Searing Pain, Incinerate, Haunt, Refresh Duration. Okay, well that's just like normal.
And you can in fact snap corruptions on everything.
Well, no, because you have to Well, yeah. If you take that, yeah, you could. You'd have to manually apply it though, so you're giving up several GCDs to do it.
Yeah, there's no more. Why do long Shadow Bolt when fast Shadow Bolt do trick? Right, you refresh all of them.
Yeah, you just refresh all of them. Yeah. Yeah, who knows, dude? Who knows? That's crazy.
So, now this is competing with Haunt, so I don't know that is actually gonna win.
No, you take multi Shadow Bolt for trash.
For trash, for sure, you take multi Shadow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's.
Or maybe not.
Strong. I mean, you could maybe say Warlock A. Right.
I think it's A just because how strong Paladin and Priest look, and like Destro comes online. AF now is actually playable, and Tank seems really good, but like
I could see it being this because like ultimately the Warlock tank is just like slightly worse than a Paladin tank. I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think that this is fine. Druid, I think is weird. So as a Feral Druid, it's A.
Yeah. But yeah, for sure.
As in anything else, I think it's C tier.
Yeah, Feral it seems so, especially since you pointed out level 25, you're literally just changing your abilities and you go from decent DPS to decent tank. Like that's so big. Yeah. That's so big. So especially when they don't have
toss them in B. They're going to be good. They're going to be strong. You will want one in every raid. Actually, one in every raid. You're gonna do that.
I mean, if they can tank the content without Incredible, they can bring Wind Furious.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah, it depends. It all depends on how difficult the content is. If you don't need to be uncredible to clear the content, then Bear gets a lot better too. Okay, Hunter. I don't know how to rate Hunter because they're just a pure DPS class. They have no utility to speak of at level 25. It just is going to come down to Sims and how good their damage is. I suspect that their damage is going to land them in A tier, but that's hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, because if they're just popping off, I mean, obviously they're going to be a lot higher ranked. But if not, they don't bring any buffs like any other class listed above does. So I think B is probably a good spot for them.
Yeah, Rogue, same thing. Their tank looks the weakest of all of the new tanks introduced. It does. It doesn't have any AoE threat at all. None. And like it just doesn't seem to bring all that much to the table. Where they ultimately land depends on their DPS. Mm-hmm. Warrior, really the same thing. I'm expecting them to be higher on the damage side. But again, these guys, really, this should just be
yeah, it depends. Do we get an MD? Does anybody have an MD?
No. There's no MD.
I guess that makes sense.
Right now, anyway.
It doesn't surprise me this early.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense.
Maybe by 60, someone will have one, I imagine, for sure.
Maybe.
Because it's such a huge part of the game nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, threat is a really big problem in Classic. Vanilla especially.
So, Mage, I'm going to put an A. I think that you have viable Frost DPS with Fingers of Frost and Ice Lance, and they're going to fucking blast on AoE packs.
Yeah.
With Blizzard, and they're going to be great. I think they're going to blast on AoE packs with Living Bomb and Living Flame. I think their healing is going to be really strong too. We've talked about that. I think that Mage is going to be comfortably A tier. Shaman, I think, is almost as bad, if not as bad, as non-Feral Druid. I don't see anything in here that really helps them.
What does shaman even get?
So enhancement's gonna get dual wield. They're gonna get shamanistic rage.
I mean, do they even want dual wield? I mean, I thought the meta at end phase is like a big slow two-hander for double proc Wind Furies.
So dual wield is more damage, but it's less fun.
Oh, because if you don't proc, you're not doing any damage.
Yeah. Dual wield is more damage. And it makes it so that your Storm Trike ability hits while dual wielding, which is not something that it did in vanilla. So this is new.
Well, you couldn't even dual wield.
Oh yeah, you could. But this is good, right? This is good. Is it strong? Yes. Is it what they wanted? No, probably not. Then they get Lava Lash, which is a really, really bad button. Just like bad. Which more likely you take this, I think, for AoE threat. I don't know.
There's high amount of threat. Flame Stroke, periodic damage is 10% chance to reset the cooldown of Molten Blast.
I don't know. This button is so bad. I need to express, like, in Enhancement Shaman rotations in Wrath right now, this button is so bad that it's not even on your rotation most of the time. Because you have so many other buttons that are higher prio than it. This is like priority number 18. Like,
is just like the percentage scaling not there, or
it's just like it doesn't do enough damage. It does like a couple hundred damage, and like you can throw a lightning bolt for like 4,000. Like, why the fuck would you do this? So like it'll depend a little bit on tuning, whether this is actually something that they use. But like it's very conceivable that Enhancement Shaman, who this is targeted at, go Molten Blast and use the tank button and just risk pulling threat.
Yeah,
because this is more DPS.
Is Lava Burst not on an instacast cooldown potential? Do they not get a proc in vanilla?
The proc hasn't even been added in Wrath. The proc is added in Cataclysm.
Yeah, I don't play Shaman.
The pure DPS classes are really hard to rate where they're going to be because we haven't seen numbers yet. I haven't played a whole lot of level 25 Classic. This is mostly just on utility and raid value. So yes, Enhancement Shaman, maybe it's crazy overtuned, right? But they don't even get Wind Fury at level 25. Wind Fury is a level 30 ability.
Yeah, they're not going to be very good.
So like they're just going to be fucking dog shit.
That sucks.
So
do they even get chain
Elemental?
heal?
So I do think get chain heal at 24. Elemental Shaman is going to get Overload. They're going to get Shamanistic Rage for mana, which will be very good. And they will get Lava Burst, which will be very good.
I don't think better than, as far as damage is concerned, better than Mage or Warlock.
No, I don't think so. I think that Elemental Shaman will be fine. They will be fun.
Yeah.
Overload is such a fun ability. I love this shit.
Yeah, it's cool. It's interesting. Do they even what kind of totems do they have at level 25? They just have like 2, right? They get 1 every 10 levels or something.
They have 3. They just don't have air. Air is level 30. The water totem is level 20. The earth totem is level 4. The fire totem is level 10.
I mean, do they bring any useful party buffs with the totems? I don't even know.
Yeah, all of the ones that have been given to other classes.
You just don't bring a shaman at level 25, pre-level 25, because everything else is just better.
So I don't know that that's necessarily true.
Well, what's better?
So bringing a shaman as a healer is probably better than bringing a feral druid for Wind Fury. So that might be worth a swap.
Wait, why?
Because the shaman can drop Wind Fury, so like you don't.
But I thought Druid also brings Wind Fury.
Right, but if the Druid's damage isn't as good as another Warlock or Mage, like why would you bring a fucking Druid?
Yeah, that's true. But no, but it seems like Druid's gonna do more damage than Shaman. Shaman does.
It would, but you could bring a Shaman as a healer and have it bring Wind Fury.
That's true.
So like, that's one potentiality, and like Overload works on Chain Heal, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that is.
I like that a lot actually. Chain Heal and Healing Wave can get cast a second time. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on how much how their abilities are scaled at that point.
I do think that probably in very high raid damage scenarios, Shaman is probably better than Priest. Like if everyone in the group is taking damage, Shaman's probably better.
Okay, so then it's probably on par with Druid then. You're probably right. It's probably in B, and if you're talking DPS, it's probably, I don't know. I feel like Shaman's C if you're talking about DPS. I just seems like Druid has better synergy, at least Cat.
Well, DPS wise, it's just hard. Like Shaman brings a ton of utility,
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to bring all of these fucking extra classes to fill all of the roles that Shaman fills if you have a Shaman. It really is just going to come down to tuning on the bottom 5 here. Yeah. Right? We all know that Mage is going to be doing God tier damage. We all know that Warlock's going to be doing God tier damage. That's the way I see it.
I think that just leaves Warrior then. Where do we think Warrior lands?
Tank wise, I think Warrior is probably A tier.
But like it's a very specific, it's probably specifically like single target tank?
No. Mostly. But in the same way that Warlock is mostly single target and Druid is mostly single target tank. They don't have good AoE threat, but the only tank that does have good AoE threat is Consecration Paladin. Yeah. And Consecration Paladin is also fucking weird this early. At level 25, Consecration is here. Yeah. It's in Holy.
It's really
so you're going 5 points here, 5 points here, and then you're getting 5 points here. This is your level 25 Paladin build.
Weird. Fucking weird.
Very. This is like...
It looks more like a DPS spec.
Oh, I mean, this is what Ret might do too.
Yeah.
Because this is 10% strength, Seal of Righteousness and Judgment of Righteousness, Consecration for AoE damage. This is probably what Rets are doing too. Rets are just going to go, instead of 5 points here, they're going to go 5 points into mana costs maybe? Or 5 points into Blessing of Might?
Yeah, just depending on how much.
But like this is probably the first 10 points or 11 points for Ret and Prot. For Holy, you're going to put 5 there instead of 5 there. Oh no, you're gonna. Yes, you go. I guess you go 5 here.
Yeah, you want 5 there for sure.
So like, here's the thing. I don't actually think you take this because I think you want to do. I think the more that you can play around multiple specs, the better. So I think in practice, what you would actually do here is this if you wanted to play Holy, and then you can do more damage if you do need to do damage, right? If you're out soloing shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I just don't think you are gonna gain enough for this to matter. But we'll see. Maybe the raid has a whole bunch of like tick damage that's doing pushback.
Weird.
It will be an interesting problem for a couple of weeks. It will get boring after a couple of weeks because there just aren't that many possibilities.
Well, no, I honestly just don't think it even really matters too much. Like,
yes, that's the other thing is we are min-maxing over pennies here and like the power level difference. So like Paladin's a little bit of a bad example because Consecration, right? Mm-hmm. This is warping all of our choices. But if we looked at, say,
if you look at Warlock, there's like 2 options.
Yeah, Rogue, I think there could be something there. Rogue is a strong class. I don't think that they got as many cool toys as everybody else.
Yeah. What do you think for 25?
I think if I was just guessing, I think I'd do this.
I don't know. I'm a firm believer that Rogues definitely C. I just don't see them having enough.
Rogue will do more damage than Pharaoh will.
No way.
Yes.
I don't think so. Pharaoh has so much synergy in their abilities so quickly.
So they do and they don't, because they don't get gear. Pharaoh doesn't scale off of weapons. Rogues do. Like manual crowd pummeler, my guy. That's your BIS as a vanilla Feral Druid.
Why? Because you want the attack speed?
Because it's the only way you can have anything affect your bear form or your cat form. Because your weapon doesn't count. That's why I'm saying that Druid isn't going to do as much damage, is because it literally just doesn't scale. They just didn't make cat form scale off of your weapon damage. For no fucking reason.